Okay, we're on. Okay, let's get right into it. Hello, and welcome aboard to this episode of the We Are Reading One Piece podcast. This is a podcast dedicated to following the entire story of One Piece from beginning to end as we focus on each volume. Actually, I'm going to take this from the top. So I changed the script, so it's going to throw me off. I did. Yeah. Yeah, because yeah, when I bring up the white text box, it makes the screen brighter for me. So it's my lighting. Uh, Thank you, appreciate it. Okay, so from the top. Hello, and welcome aboard to this episode of the We Are Reading One Piece podcast. This is a podcast dedicated to following the entire story of One Piece from beginning to end as we focus on each volume. We keep the discussion spoiler free for new fans of the series, so this is the perfect place to follow along, whether you're new to the series or just want to revisit the world of One Piece with us. This week, we'll be covering the first part of Volume 54, Unstoppable, which covers chapters 523 through 527. My name is Joel, and I'll be your host. And joining me today, we have Sean, we have Evan, and we have Cody. What's up is we're actually going to be slightly changing our format a little bit. Uh, so when we started the podcast, like the volume's a little bit shorter. The story is actually like a little simpler. I feel like a lot of the earlier parts of One Piece were a little bit more direct. But as we've been like getting further into the series, some of the story beats and themes have become more complex, and I feel like there's more of like a discussion to be had. So I feel like in order to make the show more consistent and to make it more listenable, I think in like one sitting, um, we're going to split the volumes in half. So it does mean that we are going to be slowing down our pace for the volumes, but I think it'll make the show more consistent, so we can try to get that experience out for you guys. All right. But with that being said, let's start off with a recap from the last volume. The Strats disappeared one by one as Bartholomew Kuma made contact with them until only Luffy was left. He told Luffy he would never see him again and sent Luffy flying to Amazon Lily, the island of women. Confused, Marguerite and her friends brought Luffy back to the village, unaware that the unconscious woman covered in mushrooms was actually a man. When they found out, he ran for his life as they tried to recapture him before Boa Hancock, Empress of this island, and one of the seven warlords returned from turning down the Navy's summons to war. The Navy offered to wait 2 days to allow Hancock to reconsider her refusal to fight in the war before stripping her of her title. She returned home and was outraged to find that a man managed to see the secret on her back as she was bathing when Luffy crashed through the roof. He was to be put to death by combat with her sisters, Sandra Sonia and Marigold, but Luffy became furious when Hancock turned Marguerite and the others to stone for allowing Luffy onto the island. During the fight, Luffy showed his true character when he prevented the crowd from seeing what was on Sandra Sonia's back that had become exposed during the fight. To test Luffy, she offered him a choice: take a ship to leave the island or turn the woman back to normal. To Hancock's shock, Luffy requested the woman to be turned back to normal without hesitation. Moved, she brought him back to Kuja Castle, revealed the secret of the mark on her back. She was a former slave of the Celestial Dragons who was freed by the fishman, Fisher Tiger. Having learned that Luffy punched a Celestial Dragon, Hancock offered to transport him off the island. Later, Grand Neon relayed to Luffy that the newspaper reported that Porcus the Ace is to be executed in a few days, unaware that he's Luffy's brother. Realizing that Realizing that Ace is in danger, Luffy will have to hold off on reuniting with his crew in order to rescue his brother from Impel Down. So what kind of started out as like a little kind of fun like side adventure turned out to be uh a- yeah, got a lot more serious. Yeah. All right, so you guys ready to move into the first chapter of the volume with the recap? I mean, with the cover story. Okay, so we're moving on with CP9's Independent Report, Volume 29, Transponder Snail for Spondum in the Intensive Care Unit. Spondum receives a call on the transponder snail while he recovers from his injuries. Yeah, so he definitely got a number done on him here. Yeah, yeah. So he's kind of a mess. Yeah, this is just kind of okay. Let's get into the chapter 523. Hell, Bo Hancock departs from Amazon Lily on the Navy ship while Luffy hides under her cloak. A naval officer reports to Fleet Admiral Sengoku that 6 of the 7 warlords have agreed to fight in the war against Whitebeard, the only exception being Jinbei, who has been imprisoned at Impel Down for not cooperating. The Navy has also lost surveillance on Whitebeard's ship, Moby Dick. Garp visits Ace in the prison. The destination, the destinations where Kuma sent Nami, Frankie, and Sanji are shown. Okay, so where do you guys want to start on this one? Yeah. 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 Either way. Yeah, because we saw her do this before with the kitten, and when she did that, it was like it made her character a lot more unlikable. I think a lot of the other stuff you can kind of like overlook, but this is again, like you said, it's kind of played as a gag, but yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like taking a step too far to kind of like prove the point. But yeah, I think it's just meant to kind of like highlight, okay, even if she does like this horrible thing, people are gonna like still love her. So yeah. But yeah, so we're having Hancock set sail to meet up with the Navy, so that way she can fulfill her duty as one of the warlords. But the real goal was to bring Luffy. But yeah, in the end, it's also going to help save face for Amazon Lily. So in the end, it's kind of like um, helping out both causes. Well, we haven't gotten. Um, so yeah. Well, I mean, I guess. Okay. Well, I guess we haven't really been introduced to the character yet, so I think it's a little early for impressions. But I mean, it's up to you if you want to. Yeah. So it makes a statement. But yeah, going back to before they left. So Luffy doesn't really show respect to Hancock. So he's just calling her like Snake Lady, and people are like, "That's rude, Luffy." And then she's like, "Oh, just call me Hancock." He's like, "Okay, Hammock." So Luffy just like again not getting like names right. Yeah. It's just like funny how like this is like kind of been picked up like everywhere they go. It's like new people now are seeing it. Like now they start doing it. It's like the hit craze every time somebody does it to them. Yeah, so he really did win over Amazon Lily. So he went from being like, "All right, let's kill him," to now like, "We love you," especially Hancock. He's trying to stay off the grid. Yeah, yeah. So the pieces are moving into place. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, it does say something here that Garb decides to visit Ace. 'Cause I think it shows that he still cares about him, even though, like you said, they're like on opposite sides of this war, and you know he's going to be executed. But like Garb is still showing some compassion for Ace here. Um, and it doesn't look like Ace got patched up after his fight with Blackbeard. I imagine they didn't really take too much care for him to try and make him as comfortable as possible while waiting his last few days here. But yeah. One star review would not recommend. And as we move on through the volume, we start to see the whereabouts of some of the other Straw Hats. So we saw what happened to Luffy. The rest of the crew was a mystery. So now we're seeing where everybody else landed. So first we start out with Nami landing in Weatheria. Okay, what do you guys think of this place? Wish.com Skypea. Yeah, I love how we like pick up in the middle of the scene. So like something very transpired where like it seems like Nami like freaked out. And he's got like the bumps on his head. So it's like the kind of comedy that like I think Oda just does really well, where like you have to like fill in the gaps yourself, but like you can get the comedy out of it. He has this interesting little piece of rope that creates wind as you untie the knots. And then next up we have Frankie, who landed in the future land Baltimore. It's like a snowy covered place, but he's like attacked by like this robot dog thing, and he meets some people here. And Frankie being Frankie. Yeah. I don't need no dignity. It says shaking his booty. Hey, whoops, sorry, I was gonna ask. Hey, Cody, could you do me a favor and check your mic settings? Could you tell me what your audio source is in Ninja? Okay, okay, that's good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I feel like there was a little bit of like it was like picking up like some kind of like background noise, but I think yeah now sounds good. Like tinny, yeah. All right, cool. I just want to catch up before we move on. Okay. Yeah. So, Sean, you want to move on to the next one? Yeah. Mm, yeah. Yeah. And that's 100% fair. And I agree with you. Yeah. In fact, the chapter is called Hell because of this part. Yeah. Yeah. So I do think that some of the future stuff that we'll get will make this in hindsight feel like more of a positive thing. But again, it doesn't unrace the portrayal. Like just in general, the portrayal of the characters here is, I think, it is also harmful. And uh, it's done like in a way that doesn't feel very sensitive. Um, but I think it's meant again to play up Sanji's situation. For him, it's like um, being surrounded um, by people who identify as female, but not by birth. Which for Sanji, feels kind of cruel to him in this situation. Um, like he'd rather be surrounded. by ladies. Um, but yeah, so again, I think yeah, yeah. um, but yeah, I do think this is kind of like a strike against in One Piece for me. Um, but I do think again in the future we will get more of a positive representation of the LGBTQ plus community. This isn't it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I will say again, the series has been going on for a while. So when Cody, when was this? Do you remember when this one came out? 2009. So it's dated for sure. Again, not to defend it outright, but I will say again, Japan was also they handled these topics differently, and I think even more so back then. Um, things are, I think, going in a more positive direction, but there's still a lot of progress to be made. Mm, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, we know Oda can do better, and he will. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So with all that being said, do you guys have any final thoughts before we move on to the next one? Hmm. Right. Yeah, maybe he's trying to, get into the travel agent profession. Alright. Well, the plus side is a lot of legroom. Alright, let's move on to CP9's Independent Report Volume 30. This is your former subordinate, Rob Lucci. Lucci reveals to Spondum that he and the other members of CP9 are still alive. Yeah. Down to the eyebrows. Yeah, yeah. Good stuff. Okay. Moving on to chapter 424, Unstoppable. The destinations where Kuma sent Usopp, Brook, Robin, Chopper, and Zoro are shown. Hancock continues to hide Luffy on the Navy ship on its way to Impel Down. The Navy forces begin to gather at the city of Marineford, while the warlords meet at Marijoa. Yeah, so we continue our little journey around the world. We get like a nice like double page um story for each of the straw hats as they've been landing. So we move on to the next one, which is Usopp in Bowen Island. Any thoughts on this one? Hmm, interesting. Yeah. It's he's got a little speech quirk where he adds "un" to the end of a lot of sentences here. He's got a bunch of little gadgets and doodads. Yeah, after Heracles kills the giant beetle, he asks Usopp, "Are you gonna eat that?" And Usopp's like, "Are you serious?" Yeah, and then moving on, we get to Lazy Bones Island, which is in yeah, so Lazy Bones Island, and Brook lands in Hungary. It's the impoverished nation. So yeah, he lands in a group of cultists that think they summoned the devil, or some kind of demon lord. It's worth pointing out that he landed in a group of cultists that are a bunch of men who are very eager to show their panties to him. So I do think. Go ahead. Yeah. Yeah. I do really like the panels of Brooke. Um, like 'cause he has like the smoke like coming off of him, so it makes him like more intimidating as well. Yeah. 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 Okay, and then move on to Nico Robin. He landed in Tequila Wolf or Tequila, yeah, Tequila Wolf, which is also pretty rough because it's a bunch of slave labor um, to build a bridge that they've been building for 700 years. Yeah, and Robin asks like 700 years, like what's it for? And like, don't ask any questions, just get to work. So Robin kind of landed in a pretty rough spot here. It's true. Next up, we have Chopper, who landed on Treasure Island in the Birdie Kingdom. Chopper's also got a pretty rough spot where he's like being attacked by these giant birds, and then the locals want to eat him. But I'm a reindeer. Well, I guess we're making reindeer stew then. We have Gloom Island, the ruins of the Muggy Kingdom. We also have a surprise guest here, in addition to Zorro. Find out what happened to Verona. Yeah, this one even has like the twirly like, little hills. Hmm, what could it mean? Well, there goes the neighborhood. Yeah, Sopranos like kind of like in a position where she's like, I don't have any servants, I don't have like Master Moria, like I'm by myself. Now she wants to go back to throw a bark. But even if she stayed on throw a bark, she wouldn't have her stuffed animals anymore. So yeah. Then we move on to some more shenanigans where Boa Hancock is on the Navy ship. She's doing her typical thing. She's looking down on them by looking up. And what do you guys think of the interactions with the Navy, trying to like looking on Hancock to see what's going on? Yeah. Yeah, it's like from panel to panel. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, one of the great gags. Yeah, yeah. It's a little subtle, but yeah, it's there. It's also kinda like, looks kinda like a mist or like, like a perfume fog or something, or some kinda like there's something kind of floating around in that panel to make it, I think, kinda like dreamlike. I do think it's very interesting paneling though, because, like you said, it's a little bit unconventional, but it's a way to portray that. And then also even like at the bottom of the page, where she says, "It's all right. My heart is already full." It's kind of like the little like drops going outside the panel, like outside the box. So kind of like to also express that, but it's kind of like using the space between the panels to affect it as well. But like she's like super considerate because she's like taking all the food for Luffy, of course. But like everybody's like you're eating that much. Like what about the rest of us? She's like, I don't care. You can all starve. I don't care. Yeah, 5 times. Yeah, so, yeah, the Navy's, like, on the move, they're gathering at, like, Marineford, the admirals are gathering there, yeah, we move to Marijoa, where, we have the warlords. In the One Piece world, they probably have, like, standard chairs, like, for, like, those, like, size people, because 'cause they're just like, "Oh, yeah, they're around. We have these custom made for them." And also note that Doflamingo is, like, sitting on the top of the chair. Yeah, it kind of feels like they're reluctantly going to be working together. It seems like nobody really likes anybody else. You can tell his pride is hurt. Yeah. Yeah, I think he means like the Navy. Yeah. Like we kind of poke the bear kind of thing, you know? Yeah. So pretty much at this point they're saying like, yeah, the war is gonna happen. It's like, yeah, we woke up the king of the sea, now we have to deal with the consequences. So, you know, we have to face his wrath. Okay, you guys get to move on. Okay, let's get into CP9's Independent Report, Volume 30. Nope. Let's get on to CP9's Independent Report, Volume 31. Will return one day. Lucci warns Spondum that they will get back at him someday. Yeah. They could have tried to like lay low, but they're like, no, we're letting you know that we're out there. So keep your head in a swivel because you never know where we're gonna be. Yeah, he's feeling very bad. If you can dodge a berry, you can dodge a wrench. Okay. Chapter 525, The Underwater Prison, Impel Down. Garp tells Ace that he and Luffy to be great Navy men, but Ace says that he wouldn't have been accepted anyway due to their heritage. Ace proudly states the only father he ever needed was Whitebeard. Buggy's crew is spotted in the waters and pulled down, but their captain has been captured, and there is nothing they can do to help him. Hancock arrives at Impel Down with Luffy. 33 hours remain until Ace's execution. Yeah, so we continue the conversation between Garp and Ace, which we've been kind of getting like for the last two chapters. But now we kind of get a little bit more of like a full on like dialogue here with them. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so it's, like, interesting here because, like, Ace is basically saying, like, he doesn't have respect for his birth father, but, like, yeah, his mother, he respects his mother, but the only father he ever needed was Whitebeard. So he's like, "Well, like, with the blood in my veins, like, I don't care about that. That doesn't really mean anything to me. That's not what makes, like, a father to me. It's more of the connection that he has with Whitebeard." Mhm. Yeah, we have, like, a little flashback where it looks like Whitebeard comes to pick up Ace. He's like, "It'll be a waste if you died now, Sonny. Under my name, go and wreak havoc on these seas. Be my son." So, like, he's, like, encouraging him to go out, but, like, he wants to take him in, like, as part of the family. So yeah, I just kind of like this like brief little flashback thing that we have here. I think it's a nice touch to show just like right from the get go. Like Whitebeard was like, welcoming for Ace. That's like what Ace needed. Yeah, for sure. And then we move on to the scene where there's a ship spotted as Mamanga's crew passes by. They see a mark that doesn't look familiar. Oh, this it looks familiar, but they have to look it up. Yeah, so Bucky's been captured, but it seems like Alvita's kinda stepping up and taking charge, like, "Alright, I'll be a captain now. There's nothing we can do for Buggy," and then everybody's like, "Oh," like, "Yeah, I guess we have to move on." Like, they were trying to, like, go rescue him at first, and, like, Alvita's like, "Nah, there's nothing you can do. Just let him go." Which kinda makes me think back now to, when we're in the Orange Town and Buggy's crew wasn't stepping up to help him. They're like, "Oh, let's pretend to be dead." So I think we kinda see again, like Buggy's crew not really stepping up for him when he needs help. To be fair, they did go and help him when he did get sent flying, so we'll give him that one after like in the Buggy cover story. They did have to go retrieve him. Hmm, yeah. Huh. I didn't know the definition, but yeah, I don't think I realized it was an actual word, but now that you mentioned that, like that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah. but then we get some like torture scenes, which makes the place seem not very pleasant. Yeah, yeah, because we see like a shadowy like figure like beating up like some of the prisoners like with a looks like a club with spikes and just dragging the body like away. Yeah, so pretty brutal. And we just get some like various like images without context, but none of them look pleasant. Yep. Yeah, so they arrive and time is running out. All right. Anything else for this one? Hmm. Sure. Yeah, it looks kind of like a pitchfork, like an upside down pitchfork kind of thing with a crown and some wings. Hmm. Yeah. It's basically a tower that goes underwater. But yeah, looking at the flag again, I'm wondering if it's like an I with like a D that's like kind of crossed out, like it's like a half of a D. I don't know if that's intentional or not, or if it's just I'm like looking into it too much. Yeah, so we'll probably get an answer for it. Okay. Yeah, I've read it before. I don't remember what the context was. Okay, get to move on. Okay, so we don't have a cover story for this one, but this one also had like a gray shading on it, but I couldn't find any reason for it, like the last one, like the Dragon Ball thing. Um, uh, yeah, I think that's it. I think it's meant for the art. Yeah, this is really, it does. Yeah, I'll see if I can. You want to see if you can find it, Cody? No. Oh. They also have the color walks as well. W- y- Yeah, which basically shows like all of like the art. It's like it shows like other art as well, but it shows like all the art from like the cover pages, but they're in color. It's got, like, they're books that they sell separately, um, that that feature the art from here. Yeah. So like Color Arc Volume 1 will feature like the earlier art. Um, yeah, I could look into it more for you. Um, but yeah. Yeah. Nice, nice. Okay. But let's move on to chapter 526, Adventure in the Great Prison. Hancock is greeted by Underwarden Hannibal and Vice Head Jailer Domino. Sorry. Uh, Ha- Hancock is greeted by Underwarden. Hancock is greeted by Underwarden Hannibal and Vice Head Jailer Domino, who brings Hancock to be searched. Hancock uses her powers to temporarily turn Domino and the transponder snails to stone in order to give Luffy a chance to begin exploring the prison. Hannibal begins to escort Hancock towards Ace's cell. Meanwhile, Buggy has escaped from his cell, and the guards are trying to recapture him. While Luffy tries to follow the Weaver card to Ace, he runs into Buggy, and they end up having to fight off the Blue Glory fighters. Just casual Buggy. For sure. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Hancock? You got there. You got there. Yeah. The sales team's got like the hard eyes. He had it in him after all. Instead of punching down the door. And what do you think of this Hannibal character? Yeah. So professional. Yeah, well, he has aspirations, and he doesn't think highly of his boss. But yeah, get it, Hannibal. Oh, did I say that out loud? And then we also get information that there's some recent arrivals. So we have Fire Fist Ace, Jinbei, which we talked about before, um, and also Crocodile. Remember how in the cover story we saw that he was being sent to Impel Down? Well, he's here now. Yep. Also, speaking of big name drops, Luffy gets Hancock's name right. That's so funny. But yeah, this is as far as Hancock can go to help Luffy. So now she has to go through. She's gonna be escorted through Impel Down with the the guards and such. But Luffy snuck in. Now he's doing his Solid Snake thing here, which he pretty much plays Metal Gear Solid the way I do, where it's like you try not to get caught and then you get caught like immediately, and then you have to start fighting through everything. So yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, there's no way Luffy was gonna be not caught. It's just a matter like how fast. Something we haven't seen before. That's a new one. Hmm. Although I will say we did see Mr. Two help the Straw Hats in Alabasta. Okay. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. You're right. They were friends before they were enemies, and they just became friends again. Okay, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. But yeah, we see the Bulgari though, doing some work on these Neptunians outside. They just like cut them to shreds. Mm. They're very agile. Yeah, I've seen that too. Yeah, looks like he's got the Renegon. Yeah, so Luffy's rescue mission's off to a great start. Any other thoughts for this one? Okay. Um, did you guys want to talk about the SPS at all, where they go over the names of the Kuja girls? Yeah, so here they actually say the name Daisy. I don't know if they said it, like, before, like, during the actual arc, but here they are actually named using, like, Oda sketches here. Yeah, if you wanted to refer to them by name, we see, some of the more notable people that we've seen. Yep. Oh, it does say compulsive note taker. Yeah. So well done, well done. Oh, yeah. Which, I can't even, like, see that. Yeah. Well, are the pages of Shonen Jump, like, bigger? I don't actually collect Shonen Jump. I think they're, like, they're magazine size, right? So I imagine it's probably easier to catch certain details if you're reading it in Shonen Jump as opposed to the volumes that are smaller. So I'm thinking that's how people see these things. Oh, yeah, for sure. But I'm, like, looking at if you look at, like, the smaller one, it's like you can't even tell what's going on in that little picture. But if it was bigger, like, maybe, like, magazine size, I could see how people are more likely to find these details. But I think it's just, like, it's n not something you can really do going through the volume so much. Oh, I still wouldn't either. Yeah, like, just like I never see Panda Man, so, like and he's meant to be found. Okay, but going into the chapter cover story? Yep, yep. Oh. Oh, yeah, go for it. Yeah, yeah, that's true. And it's cool, like, how deliberate that is on Oda's part, because he does do internal dialogue for other characters, which we saw, like, with Boa, like, previously in this volume. Yeah, he makes it a point for yep, yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, and to be fair, he can't really say too much out loud. He can't think out loud. Yeah. Yeah. But maybe if he moved down, like, a little bit further, like, I'm out of earshot. Hmm. Yeah, because like in the past when Luffy was thinking about where to go, like thinking back to like Syrup Village. Yeah, it was like, huh, like I thought like yeah, it's like I thought like he said to go north, like I followed the coldest direction. Like so we hear like his like thoughts out loud. Um but yeah, in this case here, it's a rare exception where we see him actually having internal thoughts. Okay. Yeah. Okay. CP9's Independent Report, Volume 32. Father and son plotting to kill CP9 agents. Spondine and Spondum plan how to defeat the rogue CP9 agents. Yeah, classic, classic father-son bonding. Cody, you got something? Oh, happy Father's Day. Unhappy Father's Day? Same for, Spondine's father too. Well, they're like, "All right, well, we gotta do something. They're coming after us." Yeah, but don't know what that something is. All right, so, let's move on to the last chapter of the episode. Chapter 527, Level 1, Crimson Hell. After Luffy and Buggy defeat the Blugari, Luffy asks Buggy how to get to where Ace is. Buggy's only concerned about his own escape, but notices the band on Luffy's arm is a treasure marker for Captain John's treasure that he's been looking for. Buggy agrees to help Luffy find Ace in exchange for the armband with the intention of ditching him, but they crash through the wall before Buggy notices it. They fall into Level 1, Crimson Hell, named for the spikes covered in blood that make up the ground. They find a hole that leads down to Level 2. Luffy jumps down, and Buggy accidentally gets knocked in by one of the Blugari. Mr. 3, one of the prisoners on Level 2, hears a commotion and wonders why the beasts are getting angry. Thoughts on this one? Hmm. Yeah. And he does manage to defeat a Bulgari, right? Um, I mean, that's impressive alone, just beating one. But a little bit less impressive than Luffy like taking like a whole bunch of them. But yeah, yeah, I I think the whole sequence is incredible. Because like the whole thing is like, uh, yeah, he's actually touched by Luffy's like naivete, and he's like, "Don't look at me like I'm a scoundrel, no good pirate. Don't trust me." And then like he proves him right because he's like, but like he's like crying like yeah at first, and like when he gets the treasure, he's like, "Thanks for a hat. Well, now I'm gonna ditch you." Then he has like this little smug look on his face before he hits the wall. But yeah, yeah, it's just like a whole great sequence, like seeing like Buggy's like internal monologue as he like knows he knows his nature. He's like, I'm not gonna change. But yeah, this is the piece of jewelry that he got from Thrower Bark that Nami let him keep because she said it was costume jewelry. So Luffy's been wearing it since Thrower Bark. So he just happened to have it on his arm, but Buggy recognized it and knew what it was, which is just happened to be the treasure he was looking for, which is Captain John's treasure, who was the zombie that we saw in Thrower Bark. Captain John was that very same pirate. Mhm. He's one of the zombie generals. So yeah, Buggy was trying to go out, but now he's going deeper into Impel Down. Yeah. Yeah, and Buggy's able to like split his feet apart so he can walk through the spikes. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, this feels very directly inspired by Dante's Inferno, with the different levels of hell, and you see like the different way that people like they're being tortured. Um, is Virgil? I think so. Yeah, and then we end the chapter where Buggy gets knocked down with Luffy as well. And then we get another little appearance of a familiar face with Mr. Three. We also knew was sent to Impel Down from the this Golden Week cover story. He's being held on level 2, which is where Luffy and Buggy are going. Yep. Yeah. So that's where we're gonna leave it off for this episode. Do you guys have any closing thoughts for chapter or what we've read for the volume so far? Yeah, yeah, good point. Yeah, so we see exactly how they treat pirates, and we can see it's not um not very kind or like forgiving at all. They're here to torture them and punish them. Like there's yeah, yeah, yeah. Like they're here for life. So well, however short that life may be at this point. All right. So before we wrap up the episode, we did conclude Amazon Lily. So I figured we can go through our rankings and throw that one on. Sean, did you want to walk us through your current rankings? Yeah. Okay. Any thoughts for your placement on that? Do you want to go into or? Yeah. All right. Cool. Thank you. Evan, how about your current rankings? Okay. All right, cool. All right. And Cody, how about your current rankings? right, cool. All right. So my current rankings, I have S tier, Alabasta, Ennis Lobby, Arlong Park, Water 7, Sabaody, Jaya, Thoroughbark, Drum Island. A tier, I have Skypiea, Long Ring Longland, Baratier, Little Garden. B tier, Syrup Village, Logtown, Orangetown, Romance Dawn, Whiskey Peak, Reverse Mountain. Going into this episode, um, I expected to rank it lower than I'm going to. But I think I'm a lot lower on Amazon Lily than you guys. So for me, I would put it um, between Logtown and Orangetown and B tier. So I was initially thinking I was going to put it lower than that, but I do think going through my arcs in B tier, I do feel like there's a lot of like really like cool things in Amazon Lily. So like I do love like the lore with the celestial dragons and how we got like the explanation for the stamp and how that be evolved into like the sun pirate symbol. Like you guys talked about with the character development for Luffy, or showing what kind of nature he has and how he won over uh, like the Stone Cold Bo Hancock and the rest of the Amazon Lily. But it does feel very much like a setup arc for Impel Down. So it feels a little bit less important. But I know in the past, like Jaya, it's Sabaody, but they're also kind of like setup arcs in a way as well. They're kind of more transitional, I think. Even though like I'd rank them higher, I just feel like this one in particular feels a little bit less substantial in certain ways because of how isolated it feels in certain ways. I also do think the lack of the rest of the Straw Hats is also um, something to consider, but it does make for a unique and interesting perspective that we haven't really seen in the series since the beginning, where Luffy was on his own. So now we're at a point where Luffy is trying to figure out how to, adventure by himself, which is something he hasn't had to do like pretty much the entire story that we've been reading. But yeah, so that's where I put it. I would put it in B tier, um, between Logtown and Orangetown. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. And when it comes to One Piece, I don't think there's any like arcs that are like unimportant. So I don't want to like give that impression, like, because like every little detail could come back at some point. Um, so yeah, I don't want to give any impression because I think every arc in One Piece has like very strong merits, and I think there's always something of value to get from every single arc. Amazon Lily is no exception, of course. There's a lot of very cool stuff here. I just think again, maybe compared to the other arcs, I just feel like it's a little bit lower for me. All right, but with that being said, that will conclude this week's episode of the We Are Reading One Piece podcast. You can find this episode wherever podcasts are found at We Are Reading One Piece podcast.buzzsprout.com or our YouTube channel at We Are Reading One Piece. This is a spoiler free channel up to you where we have recorded the podcast, so if you're new to the series, you can visit the channel there. You can also find me and this podcast on my YouTube channel at Pirate King Codex for more One Piece content. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, you can reach us at wearereadingonepiece at gmail.com. We'd love to hear from listeners, so if you're enjoying the show or if you have any suggestions on how we can make it better, just let us know. Next episode, we'll be finishing volume 54, Unstoppable. I've been Joel, and I've been joined by Sean. Evan, and Cody. Well, be sure to bring along all your hopes and dreams, and we'll see you on the next episode.